Каждый вторник в 12:10 один из самых известных раввинов нашего времени, Манис Фридман, в прямом эфире отвечает на вопросы наших слушателей. Вы услышите мнение самой мудрой книги человечества – Библии, о самых сложных проблемах, стоящих перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш имейл info@rosa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460 08 77.
Добрый день всем, кто сейчас настроен на радио USA. Сегодня вторник. По вторникам мы говорим Thank God It's Tuesday. И в основном потому, что у нас вот эта вот передача Thank God It's Tuesday с Раввином Манисом Фридманом. И столько всего происходит интересного в наше время, в кавычках. На самом деле, да, интересного, но которое очень-очень нуждается в позитивном подходе, который мы сами не всегда можем найти, а вот раввин Манис Фридман нам каждую неделю с этим очень даже помогает. На прошлой неделе мы подняли тему «Любовь к себе», насколько это важно, как это делать правильно, и ответ на этот вопрос вызвал бурю комментариев от наших слушателей, которые мы сегодня адресуем вместе с раввином Манисом Фридманом, так что не теряя время. Hello, Rabbi Manis Friedman. Thank God it's Tuesday. And I have to say, we caused a bit of a havoc last week when we raised an interesting topic of loving oneself. How important it is. Your answer was very quick and definite. It's a default state of being, and there's no need to worry about it. And then we went to speak about seeking pleasure. So the question that we got quite a bit of comments since that show, what is so wrong about seeking pleasure? I mean, God gives us ability to experience pleasure. So it's coming from God. And actually, I can start with the first commentary that we have received from a woman, and it says, I listened to your program last week, and I have a lot of questions. My husband and I came to America 30 years ago with 2 little children. We worked extremely hard all our lives to put our children through school, to give them good education, tutors, music teachers, everything we could give them. Now they're grown and have families of their own. And my husband and I retired and moved to Florida. Now we have no more worries and can really enjoy our lives. Every day I walk outside of my house, feel the sun shining and see the blue waters, and I thank God for it, and I enjoy what He has given me. What is wrong with what I'm doing?
What is she doing?
Enjoying life.
Enjoying life. You know, when we ask, what is the purpose of life? So before we answer what is the purpose, let's examine the question a little better. What is the purpose of what? What is the purpose of life? Well, what is life? And why does it need a purpose? Animals don't ask what is the purpose of their lives. What is the question? Life means pleasure. Without pleasure, there's no life. The question is, what is the purpose of life, which means, what is the purpose of pleasure? Pleasure is not the end. Pleasure is the means. How do you get the most out of life? Through pleasure. But what are you getting? The pleasure is not what you're getting. It's like marriage. You love the person you're married to. Oh, so that's your purpose, is to find love? No, the purpose is to find a person to love. But it's the person not the love that I'm looking for. I can love anybody, unfortunately. So, to say that the pursuit of pleasure justifies your existence, that is your existence. Now, what justifies it? And of course, the proof is there are many pleasures that is horrifying. That a person can get pleasure from that? Well, he's getting pleasure. What's your problem? Everybody pursues their own pleasure. Yeah, but some pleasures are horrific. The pleasure itself makes it horrific. Okay, if you kill people, all right, but you enjoy it? Oh, that makes it so much worse. So, I don't know why we assume that pleasure is self-justifying. It's not. Pursuit of pleasure, that is not a pursuit. You pursue something worthy, and that gives you pleasure. You pursue other things for pleasure, it makes you an animal. A dangerous animal. So pleasure is the perk, not the purpose. That's very important. I mean, you watch children grow up, and sometimes what they're enjoying scares you. And what is their answer? I like it. How bad can it be if I like it? It can be very bad, and if you like it, you're becoming bad yourself. That's scary. So the pursuit of pleasure can be a very dangerous, destructive thing. We're particular about our pleasure, no? And we should be. Precisely because pleasure is so powerful and so important. You got to be really selective and discriminating. Get your pleasure from where it should come from, not from the wrong places.
Rabbi Friedman, but let's go to this listener's comment. They worked very, very hard all their lives. I see an immigration process there, so it must have been very difficult leaving one country, coming to another country. I am sure it was very stressful. They worked very, very hard all their lives. They obviously have the right morals and values, raising their family, giving the family everything they could, definite family values there. And now they're in their retirement age. I'm assuming close to 70 or something like that. And they went to a nice retirement place where the weather is always nice and good. And now they don't need to do anything except enjoy the weather, enjoy each other, I'm sure enjoy some company, some friends, periodic family gatherings. Is there anything wrong with this type of lifestyle? Is there anything to be guilty about?
It's not that simple. Having worked hard and having accomplished what they accomplished gives you a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment, which is enjoyable. Their pleasure is not the weather. The pleasure is the feeling that they can relax now because they achieved a great deal. But does that mean that they can't achieve more and they shouldn't be achieving more? As long as life continues, there's more to be achieved and accomplished. And of course you feel good after you've accomplished it. But you feel good because the sun is shining? That's what a flower says. A flower is happy because the sun is shining. But what does it need? We're not flowers, even when we're 70 or 80 or 90. So yes, you could retire meaning I've fought my battles, I put in my efforts, I accomplished what I needed to accomplish, and now I can live on that. But that's like charging giving a loan on, what is it called? On Libis. It's living off of the past, which is very nice. It's not the end. If what you accomplished makes you feel so good and so satisfied, imagine how you would feel if you accomplished more. And is there nothing to accomplish when you're living in Florida and you're 70? That's it. Nothing more to do.
Rabbi Friedman, I think at this point you need to give some pointers. What do you do? Because this is the American dream. This is you raise a family, you go on retirement, and you do nothing. This is the way of thinking, that once you're retired, you can play golf, you can go to the beach, you can meet up with friends, play bridge, live in a retirement community, and pretty much do nothing except enjoy life and do seek pleasure. So this is I believe this is the American way of thinking. Maybe beyond American as well.
It is. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy. You retire from raising the family, but you don't retire from life. I was just talking the other day about empty nest syndrome. Why do we have this impression that being parents is a full-time job, it's a responsibility, it's a mission, it's a purpose, it's an obligation, but being grandparents is optional? It's not optional. Grandparents are essential to life itself. In some way, even more than parents. Being someone's grandmother, being someone's grandfather, is a huge responsibility. It's a much more pleasant, much more relaxed, but it's definitely a role that needs to be played. And without a Zaidi and without a Bubby, life would deteriorate. We can't live without a Bubby and a Zaidi. So being 70 means you now have time to be a grandparent. But why is that not important? It is very important. What a grandparent can do for a child, the parents couldn't do for 20 years. It's a fascinating subject, but it's definitely true. So your retirement is not complete. You can retire from the daily physical activities of raising children, but you can't retire from the influence you're having on the world.
But being a grandparent is not a full-time job.
No. But it's a very significant job. And a very pleasant one. You get all the gain with none of the pain. But we really need to take ourselves seriously as grandparents. It's not frivolous. You're not optional. You're necessary.
The Russian mentality of what it means to be a grandparent is to be a caretaker. So it's a little bit different. In America, I think Is that what it means to be a caretaker, or is the grandparent something else in a more wise approach to grandparenthood?
Well, you're not really the caretaker, even when you're babysitting, which grandmothers do a lot. But you're the role model, really, more than the parents are. And your opinion of the grandchild carries more weight than the parent's opinion. So one good word from a grandparent can change a child's life, can give meaning to a child's life. The approval of a grandmother, wow, that is powerful. And if the grandmother says, no, that's not right, whoa, you stop. You take it seriously. The mother says it's not right, you don't care. You know? There's a difference. A grandfather's approval, a grandfather's standards, a grandfather's moral modeling, very powerful. I mean, how many people have you heard who said, you know, I would have done something really, really bad, but I couldn't do it to my grandfather. I would do it to my father, but not to my grandfather. Even after grandfather passes away. So it's a very important role. Not caretaking, but inspiration. In terms of meaning. My father didn't like it. Okay, my grandfather didn't like it, then we don't do it. That's true. No, it's very, and it's everywhere, in every culture. No matter how badly you dismiss your parents, grandparents, you obey your grandparents. Not because you're afraid, because you want to.
It was so for me, to be honest, but I think those lines are getting a little bit fuzzy in this day and age, and unfortunately, it's no wrong.
And that's dangerous. Who's going to be the Zadie of our children? Yeah, we can't be without a Zadie. And that's why it's important for parents to quote their parents. It's important to cultivate in your children a respect for your parents, because that will go a long way in making the children into a mensch. So don't retire. You're still important. So yeah, go ahead, enjoy the sunshine. How could you not? But that's not life.
Rabbi Friedman, but other than grandparenthood, which unfortunately it's periodic. People now live in different cities, different states, even different countries. So you don't have that much time to be a grandparent. What do you do to be productive after retirement age, other than being a grandparent?
Good question. And an important question, because you can't just play mahjong. I know that in many Chabad houses all over the world, there's an elderly couple who in some way they become the Bubby and the Zadie of the Chabad house, of the community. And they're called Bubby and Zadie by the whole community. That is magnificent. They become the standard. They become the role model. We need the wisdom of experienced people. The 60s was a very, very destructive time. And one of the things that it destroyed is the respect for age. We threw away old people. You can't. A society can't live like that. You deteriorate. The whole culture deteriorates. If you don't respect the wisdom of those who've had the experience, you never grow up. Your life remains an experiment. You constantly reinvent everything, and you don't do such a good job at it. The wisdom of the ages is very important, or the wisdom of the aged. You go to an old age home, and you get into a conversation with a person who is maybe a little bit forgetful, maybe a little bit senile, but what they have to say is just so amazing. You just walk out of there in awe. What they went through, how they handled it, the result of it's just really awesome. And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as a survivor from Mengele. Every life is a drama, and it's awesome. If you've made it to 80, you have a lot to say. And the Rebbe encouraged every older person to write their memoirs. Tell your story. And young people should have the wisdom to pay attention and to be interested. It is fascinating. It's a spiritual pleasure to hear people's story. Every person who has made it into old age is a hero. Just listen, you'll find it. You'll hear it.
I think we have to give a shout out of gratitude to COVID because it made us slow down enough to actually start listening a little bit better. I think we are now at a little bit of a slower pace. That became a possibility. I have to share that this is what happened to me. My grandfather on my father's side recorded his war stories, and until COVID, I did not have the wisdom or the time to listen to them. And when I did, the whole world changed because you find a piece of yourself while listening to your grandparents. It's just such a big piece of the puzzle. So thank you, Rabbi Friedman, for this incredible wisdom that you just gave us. If you don't mind, I would like to go to the next comment that we received this week after our last program about loving yourself and the pursuit of pleasure. And this is from a gentleman, I'm assuming somewhere in his middle age. Last week during your program, you spoke about that seeking pleasure leads to depression. I work 12 hours a day, and after work, I come home, have dinner, and look forward to my pleasure time, which is watching TV and decomposing after a hard day's work. Why should I feel guilty about needing time to myself after working all day?
It may be a Freudian slip. She said decomposing.
It's a he. It's a guy. Yeah.
He meant decompressing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was me. It says decompressing. Thank you for catching my error. No, definitely decompressing. But it's my Freudian slip right there. I apologize. Yeah, decompressing, of course.
Yeah. But again, you see, you're not giving credit where credit should be given. You spent a day being productive. Now you can relax a little bit. But if you didn't spend a day being productive, you're relaxing from your relaxation? What are you relaxing from? If life is not meaningful, pleasure becomes a curse. Becomes unhealthy pleasure. It's like my mother always said, don't sit by the table with a sour face. So what, the table is a party? If you're having dinner, it's a party. Don't sit by the table with a sour face. It was ancient wisdom, right? I'm sure her mother told her that, and her grandmother told her that. The wisdom behind it is, you're eating, which is a pleasure. If you don't experience pleasure in a healthy way, the pleasure itself will make you sick. Don't take pleasure as a substitute for joy. And now we know that. Everybody knows that. If you eat because you're sad, the eating is just going to make you sick. If you eat when you're happy, you can eat all you want. It won't make you sick. So pleasure needs to be taken carefully. It can either enhance or destroy your life. So if at the end of a day you relax, it's because you have what to relax from. You have something to show for your day, now you can relax. But if your day was empty, you can't relax. You can just decompose.
I'm never going to live this one down, am I?
Yeah, but it's so useful because it's true. If you're just wallowing in pleasure, you're decomposing.
But is TV an okay downtime? I mean, we know that it's definitely everybody's favorite entertainment. Still, I believe, it takes you away from your everyday life, everyday problems. Is it a healthy way to decompress?
It used to be. It's become much, much worse. Most of what you see on television is aggravating. It's annoying. It's critical. It's nasty. It's cynical. It's not what it used to be. Entertainment in general is supposed to be enjoyable, relaxing, a little escape from reality. But it can also be very poison, very toxic. Listening to the news, it's so negative, it's so cynical, it's so cold. People got killed here, people got killed there, people were murdered, they were found dead. It's so cold. It's not relaxing. I think the best part of it is you turn on the television and you turn off your mind. So it's not what's going on the television, it's the fact that you tuned out. That's relaxing. But if you actually listen, it's not relaxing.
Rabbi Friedman, you're bringing up a very, very important point. Now, the entertainment right now is very much based on the news. All the TV series, all the movies, it's all about violence and problems and drama. And no one is going to watch something that is bland and doesn't have spice to it, and it's just not interesting. So, is this type of entertainment hazardous for us? Or are we?
It is. Mm-hmm. The experts in the past have said, watching violent movies does not make you violent. How can an intelligent person say such a thing? How, how do people accept that? Oh, the experts said. You see with your own eyes how children deteriorate, how they become violent. Okay, they don't have a gun or a knife, but they become violent, and they become jaded and desensitized to violence. How can it be otherwise? You're exposed to violence all day long, whether it's from television or the games, the electronic games. The whole point of it is to kill as many people as possible within 20 seconds. And you do this every day. It doesn't affect you. Yeah, you got to be brain dead to think. And it doesn't affect you. And the sexual messages doesn't affect you? Yeah, it does. It makes you buy cars. It makes you buy everything. Otherwise, they wouldn't use it. It works. It gets you to do what they want you to do. The brilliance of Madison Avenue. Subtle messages, manipulation. Yeah. The media actually molds our character. There's no question about that. And then somebody comes along and goes against the grain, against the message of the media. Oh, he's a crazy person. He's dangerous. Don't listen to him. That's what we're seeing now. The showdown between media and reality. I think that's a good way to describe the two sides. It's not so much good and evil. It's media and truth. Those are the two sides.
Rabbi Friedman, but every adult would like to think that they can handle it, that they can filter this information, that they're more intelligent than, buying into it. Is that true?
Again, you have to be brain dead. If you're listening, if you're entertained, if you're excited, if you're frightened, if you're moved to tears, you're not affected. If you're not affected, you'd stop watching.
Is there an on-off button where we can say, I'm going to be affected or I'm not going to be affected? I'll just watch so I can decompress and just lay here for an hour, just get my mind off things, but I'm not going to be affected by what I'm seeing. Is it possible?
No. Television would have died if that was possible. You turn on the television and you cannot remain unaffected, even if you're hardly listening. Subconsciously, subliminally, you're absorbing every sound, every word, every nuance, every emotion. It's brilliant. If they would only use it in a constructive way, they could fix the world. But they're busy destroying it. The media has not yet been harnessed for goodness. It can be. It can be very powerful. It is powerful. It can be powerfully good.
It is very powerful. Rabbi Friedman, would you mind if we have time to address one more? And I think it's an important one. Here's a question. I'm not sure if this is a man or a woman, but the question is, does a person need to be religious to be a good person? Is it necessary to learn and follow Torah to be a good person? What if a person is simply nice in their own way?
There are some very, very nice people. The question is, the niceness is a convenience or a profound commitment. When things get rough, when life is not exactly enjoyable, do you stay nice, or then do you go sour and become bitter and hateful, maybe dangerous? So nice is nice, but what is your commitment? What's your red line beyond which you cannot go, no matter what the circumstances? Example, the nicest guy can be provoked, and provoked sufficiently, he could be a killer. Everybody. Having a God with a Torah, with the humility to obey God's rules, means that even when things go bad, even when things are horrible, you don't violate God's rules. So being nice is nice as long as you're nice. But what's going to happen? So it's not just in case of an emergency, will you still stay nice? The question is, are you nice because it's convenient? Or are you nice because nice is absolutely necessary and true? So there are people who happen to be very gentle by nature. They'll never hurt a fly on the wall. It's not a commitment to goodness. It's not a devotion to what is right and true. They happen to be passive, easily content. You see it in children. But if you provoke them, whoa. And they always say that. Every time there's a murderer, a mass murderer, or whatever, he was such a nice man. He was such a quiet neighbor. He was such a good... Yeah, well, if you're not serving God by being good, then your goodness is only skin deep. So it's not that you can't be a good person. You can't be uncorruptible unless you're serving a higher authority.
I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of people who serve the higher authority are corruptible. What causes that?
Well, they're already corrupt. Even their service of God is corrupt. Yeah, that's true. Being religious doesn't mean that you're committed to serving. Because being religious could serve you. And that's why every religious person needs to look a little deeper, say, am I really doing this for God, or am I just taking the benefits of it? Is this really Avodas Hashem? Or is this just working for me? And if it stops working for me, I'll try something else. God forbid. So, being religious doesn't mean you've got it right. What's right is, this is not my world. It's not up to me to make decisions and choices. Whose world is it, and what are the rules? You're living in somebody else's house, you want to know, what are the rules? And you can't just say, I'm a nice guy. Yeah, you're a nice guy in somebody else's house. So you got to be nice the way they want you to be nice, not what feels nice to you. It's like you do them a favor and you sell their couch because it's the wrong color. It doesn't fit. Well, thank you very much for your kind, considerate. So it's the humility and the ability to let the boss decide, because we're not the boss.
Rabbi Friedman, amazing. Thank you so much. So much clarity, so much wisdom. We're beyond grateful for this time that you allocate for us. And I do want to make an announcement. People are allowed to ask their own questions, and we are more than happy to answer them because it's important. This is what we do. We try to bring clarity to this world in the best way possible, and these questions are important. So please ask info@rusa.fm, and we'll be more than happy to address them during our programs. Rabbi Friedman, thank you for always shining such amazing light, giving us clarity, and not just during this incredibly precious hour on Radio USA that you allocate for us, that we are beyond grateful for, and can't still believe that this is happening, even though it's been happening for a while. It's still a miracle every Tuesday. Thank you so much, and thank you for everything you're doing on how you utilize your time. You're such a great example. Every moment counts, and so much wisdom on your YouTube channel, in your books, during your It's Good to Know programs, classes, and everything that you do. And for Beis Hana especially, that's an amazing organization. I don't think I've ever learned more in my life than from this woman's classes that are given daily, and they're amazing, and the teachers are amazing. So it's beishana.org for anybody out there who is interested in learning. So thank you so much for everything, and so looking forward to more wisdom from you.
Only good news.
Amen. Thank you so much. Ну, а всех, кто нас слушал, большое вам всем спасибо. Спасибо, что вас интересуют вещи, которые улучшают нашу жизнь и жизнь нашего окружения. Давайте продолжать в том же духе. И с этими словами я, Аня Пекерман, передача Thank God It's Tuesday. Прощаемся со всеми. До следующего раза.
Радио, которое объединяет. Радио USA.
WWPR 105.1 FM HD2 New York.
Новости на радио USA.
Здравствуйте. Коротко о событиях к этому часу. Трамп принимает меры против